Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Sam, and in today's video, we're in a different angle, and I'm also filming on my phone because one, I wanted to try the quality for video and audio on my phone, and I wanted to give you a little bookshelf tour today, just so you can see the books that I personally have on my bookshelves and also what my physical TBR is looking like. So I currently have you propped up on my bookshelf in my bedroom that I normally film in front of. Without further ado, I'm gonna spin you around and we'll go through my bookshelf together. So to start out with, this is the bookshelf that I have in my room. I've had this bookshelf my entire life, and it's not very big with my ever-growing book collection, but it works and it fits right in this little corner of my room. So at the top, I have just a whole bunch of like tchotchkes and knickknacks. This first shelf is mostly my fantasy shelf. I have my TBR jar. I'll just move it out of the way. I have the Notre Dame de Paris, except I think this is the English version. I picked this up on my senior trip to France. I have Dracula. I have the full Witcher series, which I definitely need to reread this series because I feel like I missed a lot of the story when I read it the first time. This is also the reading order that I found online, but let me know if I have any of these out of order because maybe that was part of my issue. Next, I have the Grishaverse. I have the Shadow and Bone trilogy as well as the Six of Crows duology. I really want to get back to this world and get the next duology with the King of Scars and whatever that second book is called. And then lastly, I have my two Crescent City books, which I'm gonna have to definitely rearrange this bookshelf when the third book comes out because there's no space on this bookshelf. I have read this entire shelf except for this first one here. Moving down, I wanted this to be my Sarah J. Maas shelf, but my two Crescent City books didn't fit together, so I tucked those up here and just tucked some other books on this shelf that fit. So first here I have The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I have not read that yet. When I picked this up, I thought this was a standalone, which it's definitely not. Next, I have Undeniable, The Evolution and Science of Creation by Bill Nye. I have read that. Philly Donovan is Killing It. I have not read this. I have the full Throne of Glass series in the new covers. I am buddy reading this with my friend Emily, which I'll have her linked down below. We're currently on Heir of Fire, so that one's missing right now. And then I have the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, which I obviously have read. And then I have this Buffy the Vampire Slayer book from another bookshelf. I've just pulled it out because this is the next one that I have to read. Moving down, this is my like shrine to Percy Jackson, I guess. I have the original Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief series. I have the Heroes of Olympus series, and then I have the Trials of Apollo. I also have these two Percy Jackson Greek Gods and Percy Jackson Greek Heroes, which I'm still reading this one. I've been reading this one for the longest time. I also tucked Fourth Wing up here, which I'm actually currently in the middle of, and the newest, The Sun and the Star, Nico D'Angelo book from this universe. There is another Percy Jackson book coming out later this summer, I believe, and personally just gonna have to get stacked on top. This next shelf is my romance shelf. For the most part, I have this organized by author. So we have Christina Lauren up to here. I've read this series, which is one of my absolute favorites. I believe I've read this a number of years ago, but I don't remember what happened, and I would love to get the rest of this series, but there's so many books. I also feel like a lot of people don't talk about Christina and Lauren's um, older series, and they're some of the best in my opinion. Like, I like this series way more than like these ones. So I read all of their books except for Love and Other Words that I own. Then I have my Colleen Hoover books. I have read Regretting You. I've read Ugly Love, but I need to reread it because it's been a number of years. I read Verity. I've read Layla. I've read November 9. I have not read Reminders of Him. And I have read both It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us. Next, we have Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I picked this up last summer and I was really excited to read it, but just never got around to it. I would love to pick this up soon. I was thinking last year that it was going to be a good summer read, but I keep hearing that it's just very sad, so I don't know if that's the summer vibe. Next, I have Neon Gods by Katie Robert. I picked this up on a whim and haven't got around to reading it yet. Next, I have my Emily Henry books. I have Beach Read and Book Lovers. I did read Beach Read last year and loved it. I'm very interested in reading it again, and then I need to pick up Book Lovers very soon. Then I have my two Ali Hazelwood books. I have The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain, and I've read both of these. And then I have Trouble in Paradise by Ellen Hildebrand. I've heard good things about that author and really want to give her a try, but I haven't read that one yet. And then tucked in top here, I have The Fine Print and Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. I have not read either of those yet. I have A Court Affair by Emily Purdy. I read this last summer and wasn't the biggest fan. Apparently it's based off a true story. There's just a lot going on and it was hard to digest because it was like Old English narrative. And then I have 3 books in the Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn. I have The Duke and I, The Viscount Who Loved Me, and On the Way to the Wedding. I believe these ones, this is book 1, book 2, and this is much later in the series. And then the last shelf down here is some random books that don't really fit anywhere else. I have the Unofficial Disney Parks Cookbook. I just have this tucked in here because I don't really have anywhere else to put it. I have the Odyssey by Homer, which once I finish the Percy Jackson Greek Heroes, I want to get to reading like a chapter of this at a time, as well as the Iliad. I have the Song of Achilles, which I'm really excited to read, but I want to read the Odyssey and the Iliad first. I have the Swiss Family Robinson, which I did read. And I also have hidden in here The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I have 2 Lauren Conrad books, Sweet Little Lies and The Fame Game. These are each books in 2 different series. I'm hoping I can pick the rest up from the library to be able to read those ones. This is Nemesis. This is a second book in what I believe is a duology. I picked that up on a whim off like the sale table, and I haven't had a chance to read it yet. The Witches of New York by Amy McKay. I have read that. Eve, Radiant Shadows, and Lies, a Gone novel. I haven't read any of these. Dark Visions by L.J. Smith. I have read this. And then I have my Temperance Brennan series books. I definitely don't have all of them. I have the first 5, and then these 2 are way later in the series. I believe. So I've been picking up a couple at a time. So I have Deja Dead, Death du Jour, Deadly Decisions, Fatal Voyage, Grave Secrets, Devil Bones, and 206 Bones. There's like 20 books in this series, so it's gonna take me a long time to collect them all. This is definitely a series that I want to own. These first two books were amazing. This one was not my favorite, just because of the plot. But I love the show Bones, and I want Kathy Reich's shrine. And then I have these two books tucked on top. This is the Wicked series. So there's Wicked, and these are both bind-ups of 2 books each. So there's Witch and Curse and Legacy and Spellbound. I've read the first one and actually really enjoyed it, but I haven't had a chance to read the second one, and I'm gonna have to read the first one again. So that's everything from my first bookshelf in my room. So the next section that I have books is on this bookshelf in one of our TV rooms. So it's just these top 3 shelves, because down at the bottom we have some of our board games. So on this top shelf here is a lot of my, or some of my childhood books. We also have a lot of childhood books, and as well as some of my books that have given the boot, just books that I want to keep, but not ones that I want necessarily displayed or out that I plan on reading again. I have them all stored downstairs in our basement, but these are some of the more important ones, I guess, to me. So first we have this Gilmore Girls Complete series. This is a set of DVDs, but this is the only shelf that they fit on. I have Calvin and Hobbes, Stuart Little and Charlotte's Web. I have a Tinkerbell fairy book. This is a Disney World guide and a Disneyland guide from many years ago. These are like joke books and Archie comic books. I have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, book 1 and 2, another Charlotte's Web, and then this is the 39 Clues series, and then there was like a spinoff or like a secondary series, which I feel like was never finished, or at least I never got all of them. This is another series by Rick Riordan, and were amazing. I have Elixir by Hilary Duff. I have Lost in a Book, which is like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, or like a spin-off companion novel. I have the Divergent series, the Hunger Games series, and The Devil in the White City, which I had to read this for school and ended up really, really enjoying it. I also have Bossy Pants Up Here by Tina Fey. On to the second shelf, I have the full Harry Potter series, as well as the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child play, the House of Night series. These were amazing. They're so good. And then the 4 novellas. This is just some very old cookbooks and a random book that my grandparents dropped off. On to the third shelf here, I have the Blackthorn series, which I believe is a finished series, but it was a pretty good middle grade series. It was a fun time. And then I have the full Lorien Legacies series, as well as the Lost Files. So the last bookshelf I want to show you is this 3-shelf baby bookshelf. These are actually all of my mom's books, but I would like to read all of these as well. On the first shelf, we have a bunch of Buffy the Vampire Slayer companion novels to the show, as well as Angel. And then the Angel series is continued down here. And then my mom has all of the Anne Rice vampire series. Is this the only series that she has? I genuinely don't know. But but the Interview with the Vampire series. I think this is completed. I'm not 100% sure. And then she also has Oliver Twist. And down on this bottom shelf here, we have Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. We have the full Da Vinci Code series. So there's Angels and Demons, The Lost Symbol, Inferno, Da Vinci Code, and Origin. Then there's also another Anne Rice book here, Romeo and Juliet. And then there's this binder, which I have just covered with this old keyboard because it has my mom's company on it. But this is a like Twilight retelling. I'm not sure if this is the book that was ever published. But I believe it's Twilight in Edward's point of view. I don't think it's if the roles were reversed, but it's just his point of view. And then there is another Buffy the Vampire Slayer book, and then two, like a duology Buffy the Vampire Slayer sort of thing. So yeah, so I've read the first 4 books on this entire shelf. And then the 5th one is on my bookshelf because that's the next one I have to read, and that goes there. But that is everything. Those are all of the books that are, I guess, eligible to be read. And sort of my full physical TBR. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you saw any books that you love or any books that you really want me to get to and read ASAP. But I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!